All right, so there's been some pretty big news recently. A VTuber known as Zaion was recently terminated by Nijisanji, and she was a fairly new VTuber. Like she debuted on December the 10th of last year. She was already terminated. She was terminated on March 10th of this year. So she didn't even make it half a year before being terminated. I'm going to be going over some of the reasons why she was terminated and just the general background on where she's going to be in the future and so on and so forth. All right, so if you look on Niji Sanji's Twitter, you can see that they made a pretty big message about Zion's termination and what went down in the past few months. So they start off with saying, "Thank you for always supporting Niji Sanji. We are sorry to announce the termination of our contract with Zion. Since her debut in December 2022, Zion has repeatedly infringed upon the contract and the rules livers must comply to during her streaming activities. In order for Zion to reflect on our actions, we suspended her streaming activities in January 2023 and all of her activities in February 2023. During the suspensions, we have had several discussions with her, including training about compliance. However, her behavior and understanding of the rules did not improve. Therefore, we have conducted that it is difficult to continue working with Zion as a Nijisanji EN liver, and unfortunately, we had to make the decision to terminate her contract." So she debuted in December, and she didn't even stream in January or February, and she was terminated this month, March. So she streamed for a little bit in December and maybe a little bit in March, and then she was terminated. The amount of stuff that had to have gone down very quickly, as you can see right below it, it lists everything that happened. I'm going to go over them. But for that much to happen in that short amount of time, it's very understanding why she was terminated. So let's go over what went down. The actions performed by Zion that led to this decision are listed as follows: using a copyrighted song in his stream without prior authorization. It's a lot of people do this, but it's still technically you're not allowed to do it, so it makes sense they would point this out. Revealing internal information that could potentially cause issues for stakeholders during her stream. Making statements that could lead to speculation or leaking of internal information using social media accounts that she personally operates during her activity suspension time. Offensive remarks regarding discrimination and sexual assault. Several infringements of the rules pertaining to the use of games defined by Any Color Incorporated, including intentional infringements, and repeated false justifications given to Any Color Incorporated regarding these infringements. Expressing her will to perform streams using illegal games, also referred to as pirated games. So apparently she would often, talk about using emulators or emulating Nintendo games. And Nintendo, if they found out about this, that could potentially be very bad for the company. It could even make it so that they're not even allowed, no one on Nijisanji can stream Nintendo games at all, which would be pretty devastating. Falsely claiming to have received permission from Any Color Incorporated after a viewer commented on Zion performing an action prohibited by the rules. Falsely claiming to be sponsored by a brand during a stream. Apparently, this was just a Raid Shadow Legends joke. Everyone did this a few months ago. It's not a big deal, but of course, I guess it's still good to mention it because it technically is, you're falsely claiming to be sponsored by something you're not. Giving likes to comments falling under defamation of Nijisanji Livers and Any Color Incorporated. Using social media accounts that she personally operates. Numerous other actions and comments infringing the contract and rules. So keep in mind, this was all in a few months. This was in between December 10th and March 10th, which is pretty, that's a lot. Like, that's a ton of stuff that happened. She wasn't even live during January or February. So anything that happened live happened in either December or March. And then they ended off with, "We would like to express our sincere gratitude to all the fans who have supported Zion until now, and we deeply apologize for having to announce the termination of her contract. With Zion's contract being terminated, all her activities with Any Color Incorporated will be stopped from today. Her YouTube channel and social media accounts will be made private, and her merchandise and voice pack sales will be stopped shortly. We continue, blah, 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 blah. And sincerely, Any Color Incorporated." So basically, TLDR, she broke a ton of rules in the span of only 2 months of streaming because she didn't stream during January or February. So in probably about a month total of actually streaming, she ended up breaking a ton of rules and was not compliant and good to work with. So where she'll be next? I think somebody mentioned in the replies that she will be going back to her old account where she would just stream Genshin and was not working with Nijisanji at the time. If you want to go find it, you can go look on the tweet. And apparently, after this tweet, people were sending threats to Zaion, like death threats and horrible things. And of course, they were very hard to work with, but they objectively didn't do anything that would make them like a murderer or something. Like they shouldn't be treated like they deserve the death penalty or anything. They were just a very hard person to work with, and they were terminated. That's how things go sometimes. It's not a big deal. And anyone that supported them, it's very unfortunate, but they do not deserve any form of harassment from anyone. This should be handled in a private manner, and it most likely was handled in a private manner. And Nijisanji just made it public, and that's that. There should not be any harassment towards Nijisanji or Zaion or anyone in this scenario. So please do not harass anyone involved. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. I know I'm a little bit late to this. It's like a day old, but whatever. It's fine. So yeah, see ya.